Here we go. Let's go. It's that time. How's the market? October 2025. Let's jump in. All right, we're going to look at numbers here, there, and everywhere as we go into the holiday season. Now, we're looking at numbers from October. I know we're in November, but again, we pull these numbers from the Austin Board of Realtors, and they always lag on this data. So we're always about a month behind, a few weeks behind at least. But I want to jump in on this data, on what we're looking at here, because there's some pretty interesting things happening, because everybody's always asking, Pauly, how's the market? And should I buy a home right now? Should I sell a home right now? So there's some interesting macro data that we're going to look at. And then we're going to look at some micro data to figure out whether it's a good time to buy or sell right now, what's really going on with the market. Because certainly, I'm watching this doom and gloom always sells. And you hear people from other parts of the country, especially, talking about what's going on in Austin, Texas, and they just don't know. They're not buying or selling homes in Austin, Texas. They're not working as a realtor in Austin, Texas, Central Texas. We're going to go from as far north as Temple to as far south as San Marcos and New Braunfels. But we're going to look at the big picture, what's going on in the Austin Board of Realtors, to figure out what's up, what's happening. Okay, so let's jump right in. First things first, number of homes for sale. The number of homes sold in the month of October, 2,648. Pretty good number, down just a little bit from the prior month, but numbers are going to start to trail off. I'm going to show you what's been happening earlier in the year and what's going to probably happen towards the end of this year. Median sales price $430,000, up 1.2% from this time last year. Stay tuned on that. I'm going to talk more about that. And you can see median versus average, just how different that is, and why it's so important to understand that the median sales price, that's really what's going on here, on understanding how affordable is a home. It's not $600,000, the average, $580,000, right? It's $430,000, because average is just add them all up together and then divide. Median is lay all the numbers out in a line. Where's the middle? Median price points, more accurate reflection in regards to what true price points are on home values in Central Texas. Okay, median days on market, another important number, 58 days here, which is just a hair shy of 2 months. When you look at the average is much higher. Median days on market, 58 days. Interestingly enough, we're going to take a deeper look at that number too, because 60 days on the market is actually not that bad. And we're getting a lot of feedback where even realtors now, right? You ask a realtor, how's the market? And if they are doom and gloom about the market, be careful, because the market's not that bad. Now, the market is a little fat. We're going to get to that in a second. There's a lot of homes on the market, but homes are moving. 58 days on market. You can see that the number of homes sold here, 2,648, and you can see the bulk of the homes here on 200 to 300, 300 to 400, 400 to 500. That's where most of the homes are selling. Interestingly enough, though, look, 422 homes, 200 to 300. Now that does include actually condos and townhomes, so that's fair, right? But homes over $1 million, what's going on there? 88 homes sold, and the median days on market right here, 36 days. 88 homes sold in the month of October, 36 days on market median for the median home. That's pretty good for $1 million home. Now 1 to 1.9. How about 1.2 to 1.339? 58 days on market, on par for what was median for the overall market. How about 1.4 and above? 72 days. Again, a little bit higher, a little over 2 months, but not astronomical, especially for people thinking that they have $1 million property, $1.4 million and above, and then it's going to take a lot of, months and months and months to sell a property. Just simply not true, not happening. And so I think it's very important to understand what's really going on, and what is the data, and what does it mean? Because you can be talking to somebody who spits off some data, but getting an interpretation of that data. That's why we're here right now, is to talk about what's going on with the data and what to understand. Okay, let's take a look at market pricing, and we can see here the black line is 2025. You can see that there, the black line, 430,000 from the beginning of the year, 400,000. So we're up $30,000 since the new year. Now, the market has felt like this. And look, 24 is orange, 23 is green. And you can see here that green was up and then down. So ended in 430, started in 435. That was 23, right? 24 started in 420 at 420, ended at 435. So 23 and 24 kind of doing this, right? 25, look at the line here, 400,000 up to 435. It bounced around at 430 to 425, dipped down in September, back up in October to 430. So a little more of this this year. So where are we going to finish? Well, I'm going to get to that at the end, so stay tuned. Hey, oh, by the way, reach out to me and if you want a custom home value report that I'll personally create myself. No algorithm, no averages. I'll personally create a home value report for you. Just contact me and I'd love to be able to send that to you. No strings attached. Email me at the email here down below and I'd be happy to send you a custom home value report for your property. No strings attached to get clear and accurate value for what your property is, even if you're not considering to do anything right now. No obligations. Okay, so stay tuned because I want to talk about at the end where property values are going. But we can see here that the market's just been doing this since the end of 22, which is in 22 we peaked in May and then we dropped 30 to 35% from May to December in 2022. 23 this, 24 this, 25 this. Now, real estate runs in 5-year cycles-ish, 5 to 7 year cycles. So 5-year cycles. So we're seeing 3 years here of the market doing this. Okay, where are we going? Stay tuned on that. Okay, and as you can see here, the sales price by year, again, in 22 we peaked 490, and then 440, 430, 425. We've been skidding across the bottom the last 3 years as we peaked in 2022. You can see that clearly there. Okay, let's jump over to inventory. And as we can see right now, number of new listings for October, 4,320. And there are 2,774 under contract. So that dictates demand, both up from this time last year. But take a look over here, 5.61 homes months of supply. That means if all the homes, how long would it take to sell all the homes on the market currently if no other homes came on the market? Almost 6 months. Actively 14,852. That number is down a couple thousand since its peak several months ago. So historically, we've seen the inventory come down quite a bit, and we can see here that single family versus condo versus townhome versus manufactured home and how that breakdown plays out. Okay, and we can see here that the months of inventory per price range. Okay, and we can see here that the highest number of homes that were selling last month, we just did that diagram on the previous slide, 5 months, 5 months, 5 months for 200 to 500,000. And then stays pretty consistent, 4 to 5 months, 800 to $1 million, 6 months, and then $1 million to 1.4, 4 to 6 months, and then 1.4 million and above, 9.4 months. So hey, look, there are more homes on the market for $1 million price properties, 1.4 million and above. But we saw there too that even in 1.4 million and above, properties were selling in, I think it was 72 days. We just said 74 days. I think it was 72 days, and so you should just because there's more homes on the market doesn't mean that it's going to take 6 to 9 months to sell your home. I've seen it. Even properties still priced around 2 million, 2.5 million. Hey, oh, by the way, even if your property's 3 or 4 million plus, your property can still sell in 30 days or less because the number of homes out there that are priced right, okay, based off of the features and benefits. Now, there's lots of homes out there that are in the $1 million range that have lots of features and benefits, but are they priced right? Still, buyers are moving quicker on those types of properties. Okay, let's move to monthly price drops. I think this is a real interesting, some real interesting numbers to look at here, right? So again, active right now, as of today, 14,864. This number's been moving on a daily basis. It's coming down, down, down. Active with a price drop. So 8,765 homes are active with a price drop. That's almost 60% of the market actively has had a price drop. And what's that average price drop? 9%. That's a good chunk there, almost 10%. You're priced at $500,000 and your average price drop is 9%. So let's call it 10%. That's $50,000 on a $500,000 home. Okay, a little less. But so what's that mean? That means that people who are, so lots of people are dropping their prices. On average, people are dropping their prices in bigger chunks. I bet you if it was median, that number would be a little bit lower. I bet you it'd be towards like 6. I bet you it'd be towards 5 or 6%. I would guess somewhere around 6%, but 9% on average, right? So people who are on the market, and look at this. How long are they on the market till they drop their price? Right here, 26 days. So they're on the market 26 days and they realize, wait a minute, I'm not getting an offer because properties are selling within 30 to 45 days that are selling. And we're on the market almost 30 days and we haven't had an offer. We've had very few showings, or we've had some showings and we haven't had an offer. We better drop the price. And what are they doing? They're dropping it around 9%. I bet you it's like 6 to 9%. Okay. What's also interesting is right here. Last month's listings that dropped their price went under contract after a median of 27 days. So properties that weren't priced right initially dropped their price after 26 days on average. And then how long does it take them to get an offer? The median's 27 days. 27 days. Now, not all got an offer, right? And they had to adjust their price again, or they expired. Their contract ran out, or maybe they just withdrew the property and they said, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to be on the market anymore. I'm pulling my home off the market. But for the properties that got in the strike zone, now look, I want to give you a little secret here, okay? Because if properties that are selling within 30 to 45 days, even in this market where it's been a little tumultuous. April was a little weird based off of all that tariff talk. People froze up in April and May. And we saw those numbers on how the median price point flattened out April, May, and June, when typically they spike a little bit harder, okay, in those months. And then we had that government shutdown. Okay, now that also froze stuff up. Okay, so even with all those things happening, properties are still selling within 30 to 45 days. Okay, so you're not getting an offer in that time frame, then you're going to need to make an adjustment, and you're going to have to get aggressive with that price point, 6 to 9% to be able to get in the strike zone. Because if people aren't showing up, there's only one thing in the way. That's right. Say it. It's price. Okay. Now, if they're showing up, you're getting 1 to 3 showings a week, but you're not getting any offers. Okay. So, and this is after a 2 to 3 week time frame. Okay. You're a couple weeks go by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by. Don't go more than that. And you haven't been getting 1 to 3 showings a week, then you're probably 5 to 7% overpriced. If you've got no showings, you're probably 7 to 10% overpriced. If you've gotten 1 to 3 showings but no offers, you're probably 3 to 5% overpriced. Now, this is through accumulation of data, top producer masterminds that I've been in, where listing professionals like myself have really gotten together to come up with a formula on like how many showings to no offers does what does that ratio look like in regards to showings with no offers versus percentage overpriced? That's what I'm trying to say right there. How many showings with no offers versus percentage? What does that equal in regards to percentage overpriced? Well, I just gave it to you. Okay, and so the key indicator are those showings, and only through conversations with a listing professional are you going to be able to get that data to understand what's going on with the market, what's going on with the sub-market, my little niche in the world on how long it should take to sell my home. Because even with special properties, I got a property right now that's 2 structures. It's up in Georgetown. It's on a couple of acres. It's a little bit older property, not too old, but it's a little bit older, and it needs some upgrading and updating, but it's in decent shape, and it's got 2 structures on it, so it's going to take a specific type of buyer, and so it's a little bit more of a unique structure, but we're still getting 1 to 2 showings a week. Now, that's a little bit lower than what should be par, what should be average for the cookie cutter homes or homes that are more similar to each other in master plan communities. But this home's a little bit different, and so we're getting 1 to 2 showings a week, which is what I'd want to see for a home that's more unique to the market. But bottom line is, it shouldn't be 1 to 2 showings a month, even for homes that are higher priced, even for homes that are a little bit more unique. And so, if you're not talking to somebody who's breaking some of this down for you, is able to give you some of the dynamics of what makes the market tick and what's that look like in my little subdivision or area or neighborhood to understand what I can expect, then maybe you're not talking to the right person. If they can't give you a good example in regards to the history of what those numbers look like and maybe even personally tell a story about something that they've negotiated recently, then you might not be talking to the right person. And so understanding price drops is a big deal for you to be able to get in the market and understand what's going on. Okay, no, hey, look, should I buy or sell right now? Well, look, this shows price drops from 22 to 25. We can see these price drops rising in December and January, 22, 23, 24, 25. Here we come. They're going to come again. More price drops coming in 25. One more thing I wanted to look at here was the number of sales. Okay, number of sales for homes under contract and new listings. We see spiking in the spring and then dipping in the September, in the winter months. We're headed downwards a little bit. Again, just like what's happened in 24 and the end of 23 right there. And so what's going to happen? Should I put my home on the market right now? Well, look, if you're waiting for the spring, then the answer is heck yes. You should be putting your home on the market because the homes, property values are not going to increase that much to be sold. Now, do you need to be sold by March or April, or could you wait until June, July? Now, if you can wait till June, July, then maybe you'll catch enough of a bump as we've seen property values nudge upwards in March and April and May. Really, it's March, April, May. Those are the months where we see the highest bumps of appreciation. And then June, July, August, it kind of tapers off. If you can wait till June, July, August, I'd say May, June, July, then but now remember, how much are you looking to make up here? Because we're not going to see 10 to 15% appreciation over the next 90 to 180 days. Not going to happen. Okay? Not going to happen. I can promise you that. Come back to me then and I bet your bottom dollar, like, that is not going to happen. I lived in Vegas 18 years and I almost never gambled in Vegas. But I would gamble that you're not going to see 10 to 15% appreciation over the next several months. Okay? 2 or 3%, 3 to 5%, 5 to 7 sounds like a lot. Okay, but so you're gonna have to do the homework here on how much you're really looking for versus where the market's at right now. Talk to a professional to help you figure that out, because you might be waiting for nothing. Now, because if you're waiting for a lot, then look, you should be waiting another year or two, because all arrows point to 26 doing a little bit more of this and coming, maybe being a little bit stronger. There's some key indicators in the economy in regards to interest rates potentially coming down, economic factors improving a little bit, but there's a lot of wild cards here, right? So trying to rub the real estate crystal ball to figure out what's going to happen. Look, if you got one, call me. I want to know about it. I need to rub it and figure out what's happening. Sounded weird, but look, more people lose money trying to time the market than just getting into it when it makes sense for them. Because if you're trying to time the market, look, the best of us who've been in it the longest still fail to do so. I mean, the market's just been so volatile since 22 on even seasonality not making sense. This year, the biggest chunk of appreciation, January to February. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. So there's a lot of volatility in the market still. It's going to take a little bit more time to come out of that, which is why 26 is not going to be this big bang year. We're just not going to see a ton of appreciation. We could, in a best case scenario, see a fair amount of appreciation. What's fair? 5 to 7. We've been seeing 3 to 5, depending on the last couple of years, depending on which neighborhood you're at, because some of these areas are taking a little bit more of a beating. Round Rock, Pflugerville, Hutto. Okay, talk to me about that. And so, look, is it a good time to sell? Look, it's a good time to sell when it's a good time for you. So if you're trying to time the market, look, don't try to time the market. Get out sooner. While there are less buyers in December, January, February, February starts to warm up a little bit more, right? November, December, January, there's less buyers, but look, there's less homes on the market. I just told you, I've been watching the inventory come down 2,000 homes the last several weeks. It's going to come down some more. Okay, and 25% of the market's already overpriced to the extent that they're never going to get an offer. How do I know that? I see those properties come off the market every day. 50 to 100 homes come off the market every day. They expire, meaning their contract to sell runs its course. They were listed to sell with that realtor for 90 days or 180 days, whatever it was, and they expire or they withdraw. They pull their property off the market before their contract to sell expires, or they receive an offer and they change their mind based off of whatever was happening. They withdraw their property. And so, pretty typically 25% of the market at any given time, that's the number of homes that are happening in those categories. And so what's happening to everybody else? Well, they're adjusting their prices and they're selling. But look, you're going to have to pay attention, because is it a good time to buy right now? Heck yes, especially year end. I saw an email just the other day where the home builder openly communicated to the realtors, please make us an offer on the bonus compensation you'd like on our standing inventory, to properties that are already built out or being finished out, and they're ready for a short-term move-in. And so look, these a lot like the car lots. These home builders are looking to get rid of properties, and so they're bending over backwards to be able to make deals happen. And so taking a look at that is a great opportunity. Now home builders are right now in Austin, Texas, are typically on the peripheral. So you're going to be 20, 30, 40 minutes outside of Austin. So if you're looking for proximity and you want to be a little bit closer, well, then resales still have opportunities, not the bang up incentives that the new home builder offers, where they're offering closing costs plus upgrades, plus some incentives on the interest rates, because a lot of them have their own banks, in-house banks, and so they're offering fixed 4 or 5% interest rates. I mean, really ridiculous offers, okay? But if you can't live on the peripheral, that's just too far for you, then there still are opportunities on resales. You just got to know what you're looking for. You got to know what have a professional in your corner who's able to vet those sellers in a higher fashion to understand, is there an opportunity there? How much of an opportunity is there? And those sellers, there are opportunities for you to get really good deals right now this time of year. So heck yes, it's a great time to buy. And could the market slip a little bit more? Yes, but look, just the last couple of years, we've been doing this with appreciation a little bit each year. The last couple of years, it's going to be the same this year. For the last 3 years, we've been kind of skidding across the bottom. And we've seen appreciation to finish each year, and including this year, I believe. We only have a couple months left here, another month left really, because we're at the end of November. And so, look, Austin's still a strong bet, especially long term. And hey, you Central Texans, and I've been here 10 years, but look, I know it's you hate how expensive it's getting. I don't particularly like it either, and I know my compensation is based off of a price point, but look, affordability is an important thing too. And so there are opportunities out there in regards to affordability, but knowing how to find that and fund that is going to be important, to be able to have conversations who know how to do that. And look, it's just not going to get better. It's going to get more expensive to live here. So look, buy property now, buy property sooner, find a way. House hacking, awesome little strategy that we've communicated and consulted on with especially younger people. This works so well to buy a home and to room rent, right? House hacking, contact me about that. But look, there's lots of different strategies for you to figure out how to make something work for you, and how to own something with property being an awesome long-term opportunity for you, for your family, for your future, for your financial capacity. And hey, your vision is my mission. So no questions are ever too small. Please reach out to me if you have any questions around real estate. I always love when people come to me and they go, hey, Pauly, what about this? Hey, Pauly, what about that? And so that's all I do every day, all day, is talk to people about their questions, their comments, and their concerns for real estate in Central Texas. Stay tuned.